All right, good people, you know what time it is, man. It is time for another edition of Kingly Conversations, man, where we just come and bring you, hopefully, we hope, good conversation, some humorous things, and hopefully just some good information that you can take back home and see that, one, not everybody's a monolith, and two, there's a lot of ways to live a better life. My thing is, as long as you're happy, that's at the end of the day when they patting you on the face with a shovel.
Why is always patting you on the face with a shovel?
What are they doing? What are they doing?
Go ahead.
They patting you on the face with a shovel, or they could be putting you into a jar.
That's right.
But either way, I've never seen anybody make it out of this life alive, unfortunately.
Good point.
I've never. I ain't say I ain't never read, but I've never seen anybody make it out of this life alive. Anyway, folks, as I am every single week. Oh, before I get to that,
what are we on?
What are we on? Oh yeah, no. That's what I was gonna do, man.
I got you, man.
I'm gonna tell you. One of these days, man, I'm gonna get some respect. I feel like Rodney Dangerfield. I feel like Rodney Dangerfield, man. I'm gonna start sitting here like Birdman with shades on. Let me get some tats on my face.
Respect on my name.
You know what I'm saying? In fact, I should put that on a shirt. I can't sell it because I'm sure he probably already trademarked it, but I can put it on a shirt and just sit here with it on. But as long as I'm not getting paid for it.
You got your bottom lip gotta be trembling. Y'all gonna put some respect on my name.
I ain't gonna tell y'all no more. No more.
Some emotion.
All we through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
that's what he said.
Finish all we through.
like, well, I guess, you can leave, and you came in with your crew. You can leave anytime, my guy. But you can find us anywhere and everywhere you listen to podcasts, whether that's Apple Music or Apple Podcasts these days, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Audible, anywhere and everywhere, Pandora, Spotify. Everywhere you listen to anything, you can find us. Or you know what? Don't even worry about that. Just go to Google and type in Kingly Conversations, and guess what? Whole first page is we. So, you know how to find us. As I am every single week, man, my name is Alan.
What up? It's your boy Twine, also known as Twine. Ask about my pop. Oh, yeah. I'm charging up. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. But it's your boy Twine. Twine. Ask about my podcast.
Your friend, your mentor, Calvin D. Hill. Hey, today we got a special guest, Mr. Boyd, Antoine. Antoine, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started on the topic. Is what? Go ahead.
Well, just Antoine.
Antoine Boyd.
Antoine
Boyd. I call him Mr. Boyd. Thank you. Go ahead.
The respect.
Used to be on Cheesetown Radio as Antoine Fundraiser Boyd. Basically got a YouTube page as Chesapeake Rider, IG Chesapeake Rider, motorcycle rider, barber. Just sometime confidant. Sometime being a barber. You also that second beat. You can also be a bartender, so that you that listening ear that sometimes people need. Just everyday African American male, just trying to live life.
Okay, that's what's up. So today, we're going to talk about relationships. And we're talking about, for our first one, we were doing...
Oh, look at you having problems with your computer.
Women and relationships. Now, this is going to be interesting because I'm gonna blame the men. I blame the men for toxic women in relationships because they toxic. You shouldn't deal with them. But we're gonna talk about dealing with
your
them.
Parents.
I blame right. But we're gonna deal with it because get some kind of inside input. Yeah, especially from Mr. Boyd. Because my thing is, how do you know? I don't know how to identify a toxic woman.
Listen, right.
So that's important. You got to know.
It's very hard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I gotta put this out.
I don't know.
Because Antonio used to always say, when we were in college, he'd be like, I blame your parents. You ignorant because they ignorant. You ain't got no home training because they ain't got no home training.
That's true.
That's cool.
That is true.
Shout out to Antonio Mundy, Forceman's finest.
But yeah, that is true because when it comes down to a toxic woman, she will do everything chameleon wise to get to you and get into your life, and then once she's got the claws in, then all the toxicity comes out.
So you'll see you won't see it right away.
You won't see it right away because I would say basically a prime example of my life. With my situation, my son's mother, perfect. And I have a background in the church. So with having a background in the church, you always know you bring her home or bring him home so you can meet the parents. Oh, man, when I say she snowed my mom over, boy, she snowed my mom over. I'm talking about like it's a 12-foot blizzard and the snowplow coming through and putting 24 feet on top of the curb. That's how good she snowed her in. To this point, to this day, my mom still apologizes, saying, I didn't see it. I did. And my mom is a minister. So she was around her multiple times before she actually said, you know what, she's the one. And she was the chameleon. I mean, my family loved her. She did everything possible. And once she had me to the point that we got engaged, I went and bought the ring. Well, we had went and got the ring made. As you know, you never go and do it yourself. You get with the woman and you ask her what she wants, and actually y'all go to the jewelry store and you want her to be happy from what I was told, and you purchase what she wants. Well, $10,000 later, and she knew she had me. Oh yeah, I got him now. So instead of doing what I asked, because from the beginning of any relationship, I always tell women I don't have any children and I don't want any until I get married. Well, she decided to just keep wooing me and kept saying, you know, that pillow talk is strong. Oh boy, in your ear telling you, baby, well, you say you love me. We got the ring. We engaged. Why you can't take the condom off? Okay. So after a while, yeah, Twan, she loves you. Well, take it on off. But my pullout game was strong.
Oh my God.
Because I hadn't made it 40 years in relationships without having a pullout game. You know what I'm saying? So my pullout game was real strong. Until one day, baby, you're making me feel like you don't love me.
Oh wow.
Because we are engaged. And the one thing that was the sprinkle and the cherry on top was she had been taking her birth control since her first son was born because she didn't want any more. Well, she felt, after I talked to her mother, I'm resting the story, but she felt like since I didn't have any at 40 years old, it was her life's mission and God's purpose on earth to put her on earth to give me a child without my wishes on waiting until we cross the aisle and say, I do. So each time I was continue to pull out, you don't love me. You just don't love me. I didn't see the setup because she was glazing me. Good.
I see.
So from the first day, and I didn't know this because me being the person that I was, we did a whole lot of things, and I thought she were used to certain things, but she wasn't. So passports, Jamaican trips, things like that, she had never done. And a couple of things, I had traveled the country, but I never really went out of the country. So I was like, you know what, I'm a traveler, let's go ahead. Passports, went to Jamaica, and her friends that got together and schemed a plan. This is her birthday, and I'm taking her to Jamaica on her birthday. They devised a plan for her to conceive in Jamaica. So months earlier, she had stopped taking her pills. Never told me about it. Didn't say a word. But, you know, sometimes God is good. Okay. From the beginning of the trip all the way to the end of the trip, we fussed. We was only intimate one time on a $5,500 trip. I mean, gorgeous, man. I could show you pictures of where the sun rose off the water and the balcony and all these good things. And it was just a dude, it was a horrible situation. Like I said, I could go for days on a situation with her.
But it was no red flags early. It was nothing that said, okay, this might be a problem.
The red flag I should have saw was she kept trying to hide her mom from me. And I didn't see it as a problem because her mom was she was a home care keeper and she was a hospice nurse. And she did it in North Carolina and Virginia. So she would be in and out of town all the time, which was a true statement. I could catch her sometime, but talking to her on the phone, but it would be a quick 5-6 minutes. When I finally got a chance to talk to her after the deed was done, she came to me and told me, and it was so funny. She said, sir, I wish I would have met you. No, son, I wish I would have met you a long time ago. Because I would have told you my daughter ain't nothing.
What?
The red flag had came then, but she was already pregnant.
Her mother said that.
Her mama came to me and told me. She said, "Babe, I wish." She said she been keeping. Right she been keeping like, you. She been keeping you from me. I said, "Well, yeah, you working in and out of town." She said, "Babe, I don't work out of town that much. A lot of times I'm here."
Oh,
so she was lying.
That's lying.
That's different
because her mama knew who she was. And the crazy part about it, she has no respect for her mother.
All right, so let me ask you this then. The first 3 months of the relationship, how many times did y'all argue?
None. We did not argue, and this is the crazy part about it. We did not argue until the Jamaican trip. Wow. We had been together for about 8 months before that happened. And I was like, I was so surprised and shocked because it was a financial thing. I spent all this money to go to Jamaica, and we weren't there on a timeshare. But she wanted to go to a timeshare presentation. Man, I had just worked 12 hours, drove all the way from Carolina to Raleigh to catch the flight out. Midnight red eye. So my first time ever going international. So I'm like, and first time on the plane because I was a guy that was driving around the country. So both of us nervous, scared. I put her at peace. Let her, hey, I got this. Like I know what I was doing. But she got rest and all those good things. So by the time we got, when I finally got to the destination, you know how it is, fellas. You had a long trip. When you finally see the horizon, you start relaxing. So by the time we had checked in and I had me a couple of libations and had me a couple shrimp cocktails, I was tired. So I did not want to sit through a 4-hour timeshare presentation to get $350 when I got $3,000 in my pocket. That don't sound too good right now. So I'm going to bed. And that's when the argument started. What do you mean you're going to bed? What are you talking about? I said, man, I'm tired. You slept throughout this whole journey. I've been up, making sure we got here, there, and everywhere, transfers, all that. I'm ready to go to bed. Well, how do you mean you whoa, hey, what are you talking about here? And we're in Jamaica amongst a whole lot of people we don't know, international people.
Yeah.
Now, you really trying to, now we're away from home, and I can't get away from you. So now I'm going to show you who I really am. Because you can't go nowhere without me. And boy, within 48 hours, I was trying to leave.
Oh, wow.
I was willing to book me.
Forfeit, all that.
Dude, I had already checked $1,800 to go home. Last minute, from Jamaica back to Norfolk, $1,800. I was willing to do it, but then something hit me in the head. It was like, dude, if you leave, I was willing to sneak out, and I should have did it. I should have honestly left because that wouldn't cost me this 18 years of anguish and maybe 25 that I got to deal with her. But the fun thing that hit me in my head before we left, some people had went to Aruba, and he had left her, and she got killed, so they blamed him. He didn't do it, but he was the last team person with her. So that made me stay.
Oh, wow.
If anything happened to her,
shout out to True Crimes.
Shout out to Discovery ID.
I know, right?
Right. So that was the most miserable trip I ever took with anybody because I couldn't leave her. And you ever had anybody that's behind your back that's steady, yeah, and everywhere you go,
poking,
God,
trying to
not
push
poking,
buttons,
I
stabbing the bell.
never in my life dealt with anything close like that.
Toxic women, gentlemen.
But I mean, but as you have said, like the part of the reason why I think that is the case is so like for me, I've always I always wanted to be married. So every relationship I got in, I'm evaluating it like what. I'm like, do I like the way you slurp your soup? Like, can I deal with this for the next 60 years? Is this something I can deal with? And it's essentially, as soon as I saw, like, one person, and I told my wife about this, I was like, when I was younger, this one girl wanted to, like, go through my phone. No. Done. Like,
why not?
No.
Why didn't let us go through your phone?
One, we not married. We not even an official item. And you already want to start? No. Because this ain't gonna do nothing but get worse. Yeah. This ain't gonna do nothing but get worse. So it's like, I'm out.
That one thing got me because we're not married. You don't pay my bill. I mean, that's the one reason why you can't check my phone.
So I've always been looking for
what you had,
even the smallest the smallest of red flags. Like when you were talking about how because you wouldn't, as they say these days, pump and dump.
Right.
And since you wouldn't pump that, you don't love me up. Nope, I'm out.
I should have did that.
I'm out. I'm out. Because to me that says you to me that already says you scheming.
Yeah.
Because I the same person that was checking wanted to try that nonsense. Nah. I guess I don't love you then.
Well, mine was so crazy. I had sat back and talked to mom on 5 years earlier.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this. I'm ready to get married. Mom came, come on, sit down. Let's go ahead and make this list. And I need you to be specific on everything you need. And you hear the 80-20 rule. She gave me 90-10. I was like, oh my God, this is her. And I had waited 5 years.
I got a question.
I wouldn't date. I wouldn't do anything.
I got a question because I am blown away. So this list that you had that she showed you 90-10, what are some of those items or things on your list that she overachieved that kind of put the wool over your eyes?
The things that these modern women won't do now: cooking, cleaning, checking in. Oh, go ahead. I'll sit here and you come back and go ahead with the boys. Go ahead, do your thing. Giving me the freedom that I was like, wow. And she would, and now I'm out. She'll call me up. Hey, I'm gonna rent to my cousin's house, to my friend's house. I'll call you when I get there. 15 minutes later, hey, I'm here. I'm safe. Or she would, she thinking I'm busy or something, she'll just text. Oh, that's good. And I'm like, wow, man, she's really hitting these points. Oh, kind, generous, just basically nurturing, seeing how she's reacting with her son, because she was married at first. And that was my thing. If I'm going to deal with a woman that has a kid, I want it to be through a marriage. Because I know you know what it is to be a wife. Because she was married for about, I think her mom said about 4 years. And I think she about 4 years. She told me about 4 years. But it was one of those marriages that she was just trying to get away from home. She wanted to be independent and all those things. But she had just hit all the key points, man. Just so many things. I was like, I cannot believe this. Thanksgiving came. Oh, everything she cooked from scratch. Cooked it from scratch and made it delivered. Stayed up all night like my grandma used to do. I'm like, oh my God, this is her. This is her. House always clean, smelling good. Son always immaculate. And even got me one better. She took care of her car. She got a clean car. Come on, fellas, you know that ain't. Come on, now. That's
true. So, okay, where do you meet toxic? No, let me rephrase that. Where did you meet her at?
Barbershop. And I had told myself, because I did it before.
Oh, you was cutting her son's hair?
Yeah, I ended up losing clients like that.
Yeah.
So when I first met her, she came in with her son to get his haircut. She ended up scoping me out. I'm doing my job. So and when we had talked about it afterwards, she told me, she said, when I saw you, you didn't realize I came back. She said, the first time I got a cut, she said, I saw you. Then the second time I came back, you saw that I got my hair cut, but I was dressed different. I was like, yeah, I saw that. Because she came in her nurse's outfit on. Second time she came back with a sundress. It was summertime, and you know how we love them sundresses. And things were just shaking and jiggling, and ooh, Lord have mercy. But the funniest part about it was
the jingle jangle.
Oh, that's what she got. So she went and left, and then went home to find a problem with his haircut, so she could come back and talk to me. So when she was being persistent about it, I mean, man, when I was looking at the problem, like, really, okay. But it was her chance to stand over top of me and talk, because she never got a chance to stand close to me. She had to tell me from a distance what was going on. But now, right here, can you fix that right there? So she stood there for that 3 minutes, and that 3 minutes, smelling good, looking good, being kind to her son, caring to her son. I'm like, wow. And then next thing you know, hey, next, what you doing later? I'm nothing, doing nothing. And that's how I came with. We called and talked, and man, just everything I'm thinking that is the right thing. She's telling me about friends, never about family, but just about friends and how she's close with this one and close with that one. So I never really started digging deep on what's the relationship between you and your family. But dude, I mean, you can meet them anywhere. She wooed me good, man. She really wooed me good to the point that I was like, by the time I was trapped in, I found out this is a whole other woman.
So after the aftermath, do you feel like you was targeted?
No, I feel like it was meant. Because I can sit here all day long and tell you how bad she was and tell you this, that, and other, but I also can sit back and say it was for the best for me. I was the enforcer for my family. That's why I didn't have no kids. So if anything went wrong in the family, call Twan. And that's what they would do. Well, the new generation was coming out and my time was fading out. I didn't realize that now it's no more talk and it's no more try to explain. as soon as I feel like I'm offended, I'm gonna shoot you. I needed to hurry up and stop that, and God saw it coming.
Yeah.
Let me get my son, because he don't care about nothing. And I'm getting emotional now thinking about it, because if it weren't for him, I'd be dead, dude.
Wow.
So that's why I'm hurt.
That's all right. Take your time. We want to come back to it? Yeah, we'll do that. So I guess dealing with someone in a toxic relationship, I personally can say I've been on both ends. I've been the toxic person, and I've also been the person to receive the toxicity. So
go ahead, because I got a question for y'all.
Come on with the question.
With these women, hindsight being 2020,
yeah,
what would you look for early? Like to me, y'all got to have something in common with these women. Something about these two women that you. Well, I don't know how many women you're talking about, but I'm assuming one. But what are the common traits of these toxic women?
And at least in your case, on top of that, since you also said you were the toxic one, what were you?
doing? What were you doing? Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Now making it, but so both sides. Yeah. I just want to because you said it, so now I'm like, okay, well, how do you know you were toxic in the toxic one in the relationship? And
yeah, that's a good point.
Okay, let's go ahead and get it out there on the table. All right, I was toxic. I'm just joking. The only reason why I know that I was toxic, because in the latter half, like right now, I know because I had to get help to understand what I was going through and to see that, hey, what I did may not have been the best choice for myself or the person that was with me.
And you're talking professional help?
Professional help, yeah. Okay. Like a psychologist going to therapy and things of that nature. So in the while I was in the midst of it, I was good. I'm not wrong. You wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with me. Something wrong with them. But after I did get the help eventually later on, and
after the damage was done.
After the damage was done. After the damage was done. After the damage. Then I was like, I look back on it like, but I can't take full blame for it because it was give and take in those relationships. It was allowed.
Because if she would have left a long time ago, you would have stopped.
Basically. But again,
true. I mean, that's
so
true.
did I answer your question as far as how I was toxic in a relationship?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have any specific examples? Like,
yeah. I mean, I could share.
I mean, if it was,
because I know myself now. So when I was in relationships before, the whole shutdown mode and not caring and becoming cold and numb, that part was toxic towards them. I know on my part, as far as what I've done, because if they've done something and in the toxicity mode, I'm not going back and forth with you. Mm-hmm. So now I'm gonna shut down, and you don't mean nothing to me. Emotionally, physically, nothing. I don't even want to deal with you.
Emotional damage.
Those are narcissistic traits.
Yeah. Well, on my part, yeah. I mean, I understand that.
So with arms?
Yeah, but it was good that he saw it and was able to correct it, because what happens is sometimes you have to have an abrupt stop. Yeah. Something has to make you stop.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing.
I was tired of
it. An event, yeah.
Well, see, that's the good thing. Not to talk over,
go ahead.
But we as men, we can see things after a while when we start noticing. Well, I don't have no friends. Don't nobody want to be around me. So now we can reflect. Like, hold on, what's wrong with me?
Right.
And the worst part about that is me and Brother Calvin always talk, and I said the reason why a lot of our young men are growing up that way is because they've been brought up by women with no men interaction, and they're growing up with their feelings. Right now, it's the New York Times produced that right now today, we got young men and men growing up with the lowest testosterone rate ever in history, because we've been told that everything we do as men is toxic. Everything we do as men is bad. When we say no, that's wrong.
I wonder if that's just here. I mean, New York Times don't know what
or you're
here.
Being mean.
Because in first world countries, the birth rate in every first world country is way down.
It's way down because that this feminist movement has hit the women that you can do whatever you want. Because think about who is in control of pregnancy.
I mean, women are in control.
So if they don't want to get pregnant no more, can we force them?
No.
So that's why the birth rate is down.
I mean, we used to,
but
and that's why we got here because we used to.
The role, well, it wasn't what we used to. We'll put it like this:
we might not have.
Well, I only think a lot of us did.
You got to understand Alan when he say we.
No, I'm understanding what he's saying. Well, this is what I'm thinking because
that's Huey talking.
If you got a lot of people that are going into marriage, reading on the Bible or going as the Bible, it says that we must do your duties, whether you feel like it or not. So sometimes if a man feel like he want a little bit, can I have something, even though she may not want to, it don't mean that he took it from her. She just may not want to. So if you go on being that man that you gonna do this, well, yeah, you done did it behind her will. But sometimes some men say, hey, I got to still get my hind parts up in the morning to pay these bills when I don't feel like it. So you can't give me 20 minutes of your time? That 20 minutes sometimes don't take but 5. Especially if I've been holding on waiting for a long time. It ain't going to take but maybe 2.5. As soon as I do a little rubbing, we done. Like, whew, Lord. But you're going to say that I did these things against your will when, wow, I've been doing my duty as a man. Why can't I just... And now you upset that I may be looking at somebody else or I may go outside. We have a lot of things that's going on now in America that has really festered in Black America. Because we don't realize, especially Black women don't realize how much we as Blacks set the tone of what's going on in America. We don't realize that. We affect fashion.
Paul Mooney said
it. Everybody want to be Black, but don't nobody want to be Black.
Yeah.
Exactly. You want to be Black when it comes to all the cool and nice things, but you don't want to be Black when you can't get that loan. You don't want to be Black when your interest rate is high. You don't want to be Black when the police pulling you over. You don't want to be Black with all the bad things. But you always want to be cool. But we don't realize right now because Black men have men right now have no effect on what's going on in society in America. None. Women are running everything. If I don't know if y'all been watching YouTube. One second. YouTube has got to the point now you can't say sex. You can't say the R word no more. You know, when you taking advantage of a woman. You can't say shot. You can't say shoot. You can't say murder. These are regular words that we saying, not curse words, but these are just regular words. So we're censoring so much, and we're dociling down so much of our everyday life.
What are you about to say?
that's what I was gonna say. But as far as the crazy thing, so not crazy thing, it in a sense, I would say we can see it more now, but I don't know that it hasn't been that way. Because, you know, if we look at the 20s, you know, when Prohibition came about, the entire reason for Prohibition, it was a woman's movement because they were upset that their husbands were out drinking all the time. So they wanted to ban alcohol so that the husband could be home. Then the husbands came home and with a whole bunch of domestic violence. And then, you know, so it's, but I would also say, so one thing we have found out, so, and me and my wife talk about this regularly, is that a whole lot of people found out they didn't like their family during the pandemic. They found out that they should have never picked this person because a whole bunch of people. Because once you had to, because the thing that we had that benefited us was when we got married. Not too long before that, we were both unemployed at the same time, so we were in the house all the time together, and that's how we were like, oh yeah, no, this is gonna be cool.
How long you been married?
We October will be 10 years.
10 years. Okay, let's take 10 years back. That's the answer. If that's when really the internet really hit hard 10 years ago. You was right at the cusp where everything was going, but we didn't have it taking over our lives as much as we do now.
We didn't. What were we doing 10 years ago? What is this? 2022?
2012. It was
2012.
I had just got back to Virginia.
Oh yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
So, man, I'm getting old, bro. I tell you. Mm-hmm. So yes. Now the crazy part about that is even though I met my wife officially at Norfolk State, we actually first met each other on Black Planet. If you remember Black Planet from way back. Yeah. She was. I don't know. It just happened to be. Well, nothing happens to be, nope. But you know, it was one of those things where I was already at Norfolk State. It was definitely in my profile that I was at Norfolk State. She was coming to Norfolk State, wanted to make sure that was going to be the school for her, and so you know, but we knew each other for 12 years. Not biblically knew each other for 12 years. We were friends for like 12 years, and then it was like, hey, but the entire time I was like, Yeah, I think, but there were, I won't say issues, but I knew I had to work on me. I knew I had to step my level up.
Anything toxic?
No, but you got to understand. I've always, so my thing is, because my mindset is, you can always find a clapper. You can always find somebody with a Guck 3000. So if you don't find the personality that meshes well with your personality, then the rest of that ain't gonna matter, because eventually they eventually, like you're not gonna feel like it, or they not gonna feel like it. Something gonna break that. You gonna get older. Something gonna break down in your body. And if y'all don't actually like each other,
definitely.
Like, it's ball game. It's gonna be terrible.
I got a question.
It'll as long as that Guck 3000 work, it'll work, and then all of a sudden one day it's gonna be like, oh. And then now you mad. Now y'all both toxic. Now y'all fighting, throwing furniture, breaking your own stuff. It's like, don't break your own stuff. Go out there and break in somebody else's house and break their stuff or something. Don't break your own stuff.
This dude said breaking somebody else's house.
I mean, hey, look, if you going down, go down.
What you about to ask?
I had a 2-part question. One was, how do you get out of a toxic relationship? And if you can't get out of the relationship, how do you deal with that toxic person when you can't get away? Anybody?
Oh, you can always get out now.
Thank you.
Wait a minute.
You can always no.
Yes.
Now you know me though. You know me though. Listen,
till death do you part.
Hey, you listen. So
that's crazy.
If you willing to accept any of the consequences that come with however you choose to get out, golly, you can get out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And depending on how toxic that relationship is, you might need to accept the other consequences of getting out.
Okay, let me rephrase the question.
Now, I'm not saying, listen, I don't promote violence, but sometimes violence is necessary.
It happens.
So, in a non-violent,
okay,
in a way that won't get you incarcerated, how do you deal with a toxic person? And if you can't get away, how do you deal with it?
Because someone wants you to bust them in the head.
I can't, and that's true. I'm going to start with that one. In my case, I worked for the sheriff's department, and I was working for the government and cutting at the barbershop at the same time. So all three of those, well, two of those, honestly, you got to have a clean record.
Exactly.
They're going to check you upside down, inside out.
Yeah.
So I pride myself, if y'all see who I look like, I look like the average street guy. Dreads, and I'm black. Nobody actually looks at my character. So for me to be able to walk around like this and be able to go into the government and hand my ID and smile in their face, and the crazy part, I've never been a part of the military. It lets you know that I had a good background. So whenever she would get amped and stand in my face, that would be the first thing that popped in my mind. Dude, you've been good all the way up to this time.
What do you have to? What you
got to lose?
Yeah.
And losing it and this is my thing, because I've had my own place since I was 17. And, you had hiccups. I had to move back home, but I came back out on my own. So I've been on my own, paying my own for a long time. So I kept thinking, is it on my job? It take 1 week. If I can't work for 1 week, I'm about to be homeless, because I work with cash and I got to be to work. I have no sick days. I have no vacation time. Yeah. I have none of those things. So I have to be to work. So I always sit back and say, well, dude, if you go to jail, that's at least 3 days, because people got to get the money to get you out. So it may take 3 days. The first day you get locked up, you already said you can be there at least 12 hours, because they take their time with processing. And I worked down there, so I knew what you was going to go through. And I did not want to be locked up in the same jail that I work in.
Yeah, that was suck.
I understand.
That was suck.
That was suck ain't the word. The craziest part about it, they looking at me like, you? What did you do? And now once I get arrested, I've lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't get that
I can't get that back.
Yeah.
So I would always think first. And my mom and my dad used to fight a lot. And my mom would initiate it, but my dad's a peaceful guy. So he would always try to leave. And I saw this. He would always walk around, try to just do whatever he could. My mom would still be on him. So with seeing that and knowing that he only hit her one time, and that hit came from she snatching on him and he pulling back. I know y'all have seen it in those movies before. The dude like, get off me. And then, she gets hit. And now, you nigga. And then she jumps on him and just let the man go. So I've always seen when the argument starts getting to the point that it's above audible, it's time to leave. Because things are about to be said and done that can't be taken back.
True.
So it's time for me to go. But getting out, after a while, I sat back and I got a real good relationship with God. I don't know about nobody else, but mine, I can talk to him anytime. And with talking to him, he was like, you ain't got to be here. You don't have to be here. Mm-hmm. I wasn't married to her. The ring, possession. Take it. Go. You can tear up everything I got as long as you don't touch me. Because when it come down, a woman tearing your stuff up and the police come, they gave her every right to do it. You better not even blink at her too hard. In Chesapeake, you're going to jail. Oh, you look like you were going to do something. You smelled like you were going to do something.
And Virginia.
Virginia, right. Yeah, and then I'm not a small guy. I'm not a huge guy, but most women that I date are smaller than me. So they already going to look, oh. So I sat back and was like, you know what? I'm not going to keep taking this verbal abuse. And I'm not going to keep taking this taunting. Because after a while, you taunt a person to the point that, oh, yeah, they're going to want to pop you inside your head. And when I saw one day I was trying to leave, and I was at the steps, and she jumped in front of me being pregnant. You're 6 months pregnant. And you're going to jump in front of me at the stairs, and we're going down? You don't have no care about your well-being. Because I'm going forward to go down the stairs, and you can try to jump in front of me, anything can happen. So when I caught, she ended up almost falling. So when I caught her and pulled her back up, oh, you trying to let me go? I said, you just did this. And I knew then, from here on out, you're going to be blamed for anything. Because she's about to blame you for what she just almost did to herself. Mm-hmm. After I got her stable, I turned around, looked at her face, and I told her, I said, we're done. What you mean we done? I said, we through. I'm not going to have somebody antagonizing me, taunting me, and egging me to put their hands. Love is not putting my hands on you. If I say I love you, why would I put my hands on you? You're trying to get me to go there, and that's not me. I don't give that type of love.
You just said something that that resonated. Putting your hands on somebody to show you love. Some people have that mentality that if you're not fussing and you're not
fighting for this relationship,
you're not arguing back, you don't love me.
That's it. Yeah.
You didn't smack me across my head.
Right.
You don't love me. Mm-hmm. Like I don't. I don't.
Now for some people, if that's what you're into in the bedroom, hey.
If it's consensual,
no. By all means,
if it's consensual,
hey, it's people that are that. Hey, that's people. A lot of people got a whole lot of kinks out there.
Yeah, but if you,
people got a whole lot of kinks out there.
That ain't for me. I can't stand arguing with you for no reason.
Me neither.
No, I'm not. Yeah, the arguing. No, arguing for no reason.
If it ain't about money or the kids, we don't really have.
If it ain't real, yeah. So that's why I had to go.
My thing has been, and I guess because when I say I knew that in order to ensnare my wife, I had to work on me. Because my thing, one of the things I learned essentially through entrepreneurship was that if it's not going to matter, one of my mentors said, if it's not going to matter in 5 minutes, then it doesn't matter now. And he wasn't really saying literally 5 minutes, but like if this isn't going to matter for going forward for our future, if this isn't going to affect us long term, then leave it alone. It don't really matter now. Like the way that, because I remember that early, which some people would. Might want to be toxic about or whatever the case may be, or just want to, antagonize somebody about. But my wife and I fold towels differently.
Right.
But she's like, the towels got folded.
And that's how I feel too. As long as
either way, it got folded. And so I think that, I think some of that comes from people, and we talked about this before on another podcast, people just trying to control other people.
Yes, sir.
And it's like, but you can't control anybody else unless you're going to do it through some level of violence, which... And antagonization is still violence.
Like I said, we need to go back with dads in the house. Because think about it. Women are being taught, daughters are being taught by moms that are controlling them. So who they going to control when they get with their man? They're going to control the man. Because they've been taught. And think about it. If mom is not with a husband or with a long-term boyfriend, or sometimes they are with long-term boyfriends that are simps or that are, they say beta males, they will allow themselves to go through that type of torture and torment, and the daughter sees that that's okay, and to try to find the same type of manner to go through that. Women love to just anybody, whatever you're taught, you're gonna push it back out.
I mean, that's like your beginning statement.
Yes, I blame the parents.
Blame the parents,
and you can't.
And especially this now. I mean, there's always gonna be outliers. Like some people, their parents were to a level where the kid is like, I never want to be like my parents. And then other people, but most children are going to grow up and have a lot of the same traits that their parents have.
Right.
And so this is another thing that you mentioned more than once. This is one of the other reasons why I know why organizations like Oh Lord and other places exist is because they're for whether no matter what gender you happen to be, you need an example to model, to follow. And so, if you might not be fortunate enough where there's dad in the home, or if you're raised by a single father and you're a daughter, you might not be fortunate enough to have mom in the home, because that dad can't teach you how to be a woman. They're going to essentially teach you how to be whatever their thought of a woman is supposed to be.
Right. So the intimate things they wouldn't be able to do. But if you think about it, a lot of times they've said it, that it's been proven that men are more better parents than women are because of the caring nature. Men have a much caring. I mean, you can look it up anywhere. Men have a much caring nature than women do when it comes, and a longer patience, especially when it comes to the kids. Think about it, man. We deal with the hustle and bustle of the world all day long. When you come home to what's yours, your child, what your seed you made, man, you were so gentle with that child, and it's the innocence of the day. Mm-hmm. Man, do you know how relieving that is? Hug your child? Oh, man, come on. It's ridiculous. And we sometimes take it for granted. So, like I said, the women that are being raised by women see that we're going to control the guy. So they try to go on with the same way of controlling the person. And we got to, some kind of way got to break. Because I still see it like this. Church was very important for me and my brother. And my mom kept us in church, and we got a chance to see those men examples of husbands, of fathers. Even though my dad wasn't there, and it wasn't because of his choice, it was because my mom was you can't take a person that don't do one thing and try to make them do something that they didn't sign up for. You married my dad when he was a sinner. Maybe you was a saint, but he was a sinner. And you knew that from day one. So don't get mad with him when he don't want to go to church. Don't get mad with him when he's at the point that, you going on, I'm good.
Well, people think they can change people.
Mm-hmm. And that's what she tried. And it was horrible when it came down to, when she finally realized he wasn't going to do it, it was arguments all the time, to the point that he just stopped coming home. And as a kid, I just thought he quit. But when I got older and I just really started talking to mom, just start having questions and just talking to her about situations that happened just before the argument. And I remember certain things when we would talk. I'm like, oh, man, Mom, you wrong. And one day I told her that. I said, Mom, you know what? You ran your husband away. What? No, I didn't. He was just weak. I said, that's the problem. Weak. Because he didn't want to do what you wanted him to do. That's weak.
Right
now, we have our relationship is as strong as it was because I've been pointing out things my mom has been doing wrong in her life, and she's that type of person. She will point out what you do wrong, and she's going to tell you. So you taught me this medicine. Now it's time for you to get this spoon feed to you.
All right. Hey, gentlemen, last question. You got a question?
No, go ahead. We're on the same page.
Oh. I don't like to be interrupted, sir. I'm joking.
No, watch out. I turn your shoulders on, man.
No. So, last question, and we're going to wrap this one up. But I did want to ask you, what advice do you have for young men dealing with toxic women? Do you have some keynotes, some tidbits?
Real quickly, if you see that the relationship, like my mom said the other day, if you're fussing and fighting, that's a toxic relationship, but you're not agreeing. When you start seeing that you're having more bad times than good times, the smiles are gone, you're hating to come to the house if you're living together, you're hating to start talking to this person, it's time to go. Because you shouldn't. God didn't put us on this earth to be miserable. He put us all on this earth to really do something. We're all put here for a reason. Every person on this earth has a skill. It's, if you're using it or not, that's up to you, but you have a skill. And we need to use it. So you shouldn't sit back in a toxic relationship and you're dumbing your skill down. As a man, if you see it, let's go ahead and let me go ahead and stop. Let's end this. Because one of my things is, I've learned that if a man is chasing his money, he ain't got to worry about a woman. Because the woman going to chase after him. And then you are put in the position that you make the demands and pick and choose what women you want. So if you start seeing that these women are not what you want, you go to the next one. But you got to be able to see it and stay on your square. Don't let that pillow talk, like I did, overtake your common sense. Don't let that pillow talk, and then don't let that softening of the heart. Oh, but baby. No, stay on your square. Because God put all us up here to lead the household, not to be led.
I like it. Y'all got something?
Should I be? Is it a question or should I be playing the music?
I mean, we can cue the music and we can kind of.
I'm trying to figure out because you asked a question, but it sounded like a wrap up.
He did. He said give a tidbit of advice for young men.
Yeah. So that's why I wasn't for sure. I was like,
all right, go ahead, Calvin. What you got for the young men out there in toxic relationships?
I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of what Antoine said, but for young men out there in a relationship, if somebody show you who they are, believe them. Listen, and for me, listen to a person's conversation, especially in a relaxed atmosphere. They will tell you who they are. They will. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. But sometimes, and I know a young lady right now, and I'm hoping this young man is listening. Your young lady has said several times who she is. You might need to listen. You really need to listen. So,
good luck, whoever you are.
Hey, good luck. Good luck. Good luck. You know exactly who you are. Good luck, bro.
I mean, they might know who they are, but do they listen to the podcast?
Yeah.
They might be talking about the same type of woman.
But this is the thing, too. I do everything for a reason. Just like this podcast is built to help somebody else or give men advice, if you don't take it, that's on you. Just like we write books and do everything else, if you don't read it, that's on you. The information is there. The path is there. We can make your life easy. You might want to listen.
Ugh. All right, what you got, man?
Hey, man, for me, it's always just easy. And this is whether you're in relationships or whatever you're involved in, and just be willing to walk away from anything and anyone that isn't improving your life, that isn't making your life better. Now, obviously, some people, like if you have children, please don't walk away from them. But any humans that you did not assist in creating, be willing to walk away from those people, because at the end of the day, especially if you have children, your children deserve a happy you more than an angry you, because you're still angry at this person that did whatever they did. So they deserve the best version of you that you can show them. And really everybody you meet does. One of my mentors, Jim Rohn, said, I'll take care of me for you if you will take care of you for me. Yep. And that's how I try to live my life. And so it served me well. Maybe it'll serve you well too.
Gotcha. Well, gentlemen, you said everything that I wanted to say, so I'll just keep it short in agreement with y'all. You deserve to be happy. If you're listening to this, you deserve to be happy. Do better. That's all I got.
We'll see y'all next week.